Visual Cut can take a crystal report, like this one, and using a web pivot table export format, embed the data of the report inside a fully interactive pivot table within an HTML web page. I'll start the process, and it would take about 6 seconds. And the process already took care of SFTP uploading the web page to my website and also sending me an email with the hyperlink to that web page. Here's the email and here's the hyperlink, so I'll visit that web page. The pivot table is not yet defined, so we'll design it and we'll elect to use employee as rows. When we click on a numeric column such as value, it automatically goes into the values area and assumes that you want to sum that metric. If we close out of this dialog, we can see that we now have a pivot table with employee as rows and revenue as the metric shown for them. And we can click to sort values descending, so now King is the highest revenue producing salesperson. We'll go back to this design layout and add columns. If we just click on the checkbox, it gets added to the rows. We can drag it to the columns area. And now we see a pivot table with employees as rows and product types as columns. We can filter those product types. So we'll select only, let's say, competition, hybrid, helmets, and glove, and click OK. So now we have a filtered view of the data. So we'll go back to the design and we'll pick up, let's say, year to be something that we can filter on, and maybe also product class. And close out of this dialog. Now, right now, they're not filtering anything, but I can go to the product class filter and say that I want to see only bicycles. So now we can see only competition and hybrid. Let's assume that we want to see another metric. So we'll go back to the design and I'm going to use discount, except that discount is a percent. So instead of a sum, we're going to change that to average. And now we can see for each combination of employee and product type, both revenue and the discount. Let's assume that we want to change the number formatting so that the discount shows 2 decimals instead of 1. So we'll pick up the discount as the metric and we'll change the decimal places to 2 and apply. And now the discount percent shows a precision of 2 decimals. We can also do conditional formatting, and I'll add a condition. Instead of all values, I'm going to just pick up the discount metric, and when that value is greater than 2%, which is 0.02, I want the font to be white, and I want the background to be red, and I'll apply. And now we can see that we've highlighted a cell that says, hey, Devolio grants average discounts of 2.3%, which is quite high. Another exciting thing we can do here is double-click a cell and get a drill down to look at the data that makes up that particular cell. If we want to add other columns from the report, we can select this columns drop-down and add things such as, let's say, product and color. We can export to PDF, Excel, or CSV. We can switch from a table format, like the one that we see right now, to a chart. And the chart choices include a bunch of different options. I'll select column. And at this point, the widget decided that it's going to show the first metric, which is value. I can use this drop down to change to discount. And again, if I wanted to, I can drill down. So for example, this reminds me that Devolio has fairly high discount percent. I can double click and I'm back into this drill down. I can change the type of chart. So instead of column, I can switch to bar, for example. Let's go back to the table format. Other things that I can do here is I can control subtotals. Now, subtotals come into effect when you are grouping within a group. So if I added something within the rows, such as, let's look at, let's assume that I wanted to show product within employee. So now I can expand each employee and show the metrics for that employee for particular products, as you can see here. I'm going to reverse that choice and remove the product from the rows. What about grand totals? You can see right now that I have a grand total row here at the bottom, and I have a grand total columns on the right hand side. I can remove those by turning off the show grand totals. Other things that I can do is I can change the color theme, so I can drop this drop down and select a light color scheme or bootstrap, high contrast, and fabric. I'll go back to the material dark, which I tend to favor. Now all these choices are persisted, so if I close out of this and visit the web pivot table again, I can see that I get back the layout that I ended with in my last session.